What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the random video blog, where every single week I, Graham G.S. Matthews, run down my rambling thoughts in the wrestling world, share a few stories, etc., etc. I once again lied last week. I did not mean to, though. I did say at the end of last week's video talking about my Ring of Honor Final Battle 2017 experience, which I got to buy this shirt at the show, by the way. I forgot to include that in the video. My Jay Lethal shirt is a great fit, and it's very cozy. I did say at the end of that video that today I would be talking about 7 things I want to see happen in WWE in 2018. I thought I would save that for next week. We will do that. We'll just do it next week. Today, instead, I want to go down 8 matches that I saw in person this year that were my favorite of the year. Now, I've been to a lot of wrestling shows this year, about maybe a dozen. As of this recording, I've not yet gone to the Raw House show that I may or may not. I'm recording this in advance. I may or may not have gone to a Raw House show on Thursday night with my girlfriend Haley. I doubt I'll be seeing any great matches there anyway, so we'll just go with what I've seen so far. I went to more wrestling shows in 2016. 2016 still holds the record for 16 wrestling shows overall, which was a crazy year for shows and shit. But I have gone to a lot of shows in 2017, including a Takeover, WrestleMania, obviously, a SmackDown, a couple house shows, Progress. I went to NXT, an NXT house show, Final Battle. So I've gotten a little bit of everything, a lot of Northeast wrestling shows and stuff like that. So figured I would talk about it here today for you guys, the top 8 matches I saw in 2017 in person and why they were my favorite. So coming in at number 8 from the July 14th, 2017 show of Northeast Wrestling. I think it was called Fight or Flight. Main evented by Cody Rhodes versus Ricochet for the Northeast Wrestling Heavyweight Championship in a great match. My first time seeing Ricochet in person. Cody Rhodes has always been good regardless of who his opponent is for the most part. Ricochet is outstanding. So it was a good show. I think that show also saw Dijak taking on Jack Swagger, which was a good match. But this was a very, very fun main event. Cody Rhodes, in the end, scoring the victory, retaining the NEW heavyweight title, with a great finish, too. I think Ricochet did something off the top rope, and Cody caught him in the crossroads for the victory. So a very fun main event, very well wrestled. I don't think I have that show on DVD yet, but all these matches, by the way, for the most part, okay, maybe except for the next one, I think you can see on various DVDs or online and certain streaming services and such. But that's number 7, Cody Rhodes versus Ricochet. Number 7, from the NXT house show that I went to back on September 21st of earlier this year, Roderick Strong versus Hideo Itami. Again, another fun wrestling show, a lot of good matches. The main event with Drew McIntyre and Andrade Cien Almas before they ever faced off at TakeOver War Games. They had a great match in the main event. But to me, the real match of the night, although it ended a bit too briefly, and if it didn't, might be higher up on the list, was with Roderick Strong and Hideo Itami. Now, Hideo Itami has since gone on to bigger things, seemingly, hopefully, on 205 Live, but he had one final stretch of house show matches in NXT before going to the main roster. This was one of them. They had one match on TV earlier this year, back in May, I think, before TakeOver Chicago. But seeing this in person, it was a lot of fun. Big fan of both guys. Just very hard-hitting, exciting action. Roderick Strong, in the end, picking up the victory. So, again, very fun match. The only match on this list, and unless someone took a full video of it and it's on YouTube somewhere that I don't know about, the only match on this list that you cannot see anywhere else because it was a house show. Coming in at number 6 from the December 1st, 2017 Northeast Wrestling show that I went to, Holiday Havoc, which I talked about here on the channel a few weeks back. It was a triple threat match, which in my opinion probably should have been the main event. The main event was also good. It was Cody Rhodes, Brad Hollister, and Flip Gordon for the NEW title, and what I think was Cody Rhodes' final match with NEW for the time being. But this was a great match too. 3-way ladder match with the now Adrenaline Rush in the Kingdom, Vinny Marseglia and TK O'Ryan from Ring of Honor. Very fun match. It was only supposed to be the Kingdom and the Now, but Adrenaline Rush had won a match earlier on in the night, and even if you don't know these teams, it's still a great match to watch. So they won their entry into the match, earned their entry into the bout, and it was a real exciting ladder match. And I've seen a couple ladder matches in person before, but this was an absolute blast. All 3 teams worked very well together. Got great video of some of the spots here on the channel if you want to check it out. Got video of the title change too, which people popped for because no one thought Adrenaline Rush would win. But it was a great moment, very, very fun match, and like I said at that time when I recorded my random video blog talking about my experience at that show, might have been one of the better shows I've been to all year, because it was great wrestling start to finish, and this was one of the best matches I've seen all year as well. Coming in at number 5 from WrestleMania 33, my WrestleMania debut, not where I debuted at WrestleMania, but my first ever WrestleMania show, the match that I thought stole the show. And I loved Aries and Neville, and I loved the tag team ladder match, and even the Universal title match between Brock Lesnar and Goldberg. But to me, the real match of the night was AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon. I was skeptical. I love AJ, obviously. The build was great, but I was still skeptical as to whether Shane would be able to go with AJ in an environment that's not Hell in a Cell or Extreme Rules or No Holds Barred, whatever. It ended up being a really, really fun match and an awesome way to kick off the show, and nothing else, in my opinion, on that show topped it from that point forward. Shane put up a hell of a fight, AJ carrying him to a great match, and Shane held his own, but it was really AJ that made the match, in my opinion. AJ went over in his first ever WrestleMania victory after losing last year to Chris Jericho, but I love that match, and I know RJ did too. I think he said it was the match tonight for him as well. But that was a really, really fun match, and the 5th best match, or my 5th favorite match that I saw in person this year. Coming in at number 4 is from the Progress Show, the first and only Progress Show I've been to so far, in Queens, New York, back on August 12th, 2017, the Elkmore Arena, whatever the fuck it's called. It was a Fatal 4-Way, and that whole show was great. You could watch it on their streaming service. They came out with it like a month after the show aired, or that it was held. Super fucking hot in the arena. I think I talked about the experience a couple months back in WrestleRain Radio. Super fucking hot in the arena with so many people packed in there. But this match was unreal. It was a 4-way. I think it was supposed to be a 3-way. One guy couldn't make it, so they replaced him with Austin Theory, and they made it a 4-way with Keith Lee. It was also involving Mark Andrews from the WWE United Kingdom Championship Tournament, who I got to meet beforehand. He was really cool. And Mark Haskins. Just an all-out fun match. A complete spot fest, but it was a lot of fucking fun. Had me on my feet. Like, holy shit, what the fuck did I just watch? Again, very good night of action. A lot of awesome matches, but that to me was my favorite match of the night. I think it was Mark Haskins who ended up picking up the victory that night. After that, coming in at number 3, which I talked about last week here on the channel, Jay Lethal versus Marty Scurll from Ring of Honor Final Battle, the pay-per-view, having been emanated from New York City's Hammerstein Ballroom just a few weeks back. Love the story, love the action, everything about this was awesome. The storytelling, the drama, the crowd engagement, it was all great. I love Marty Scurll. My first time seeing him wrestle in person. I'm wearing my Jay Lethal shirt right now. But this was a lot of fucking fun. A lot of fun. The match that I was most looking forward to going into the event, in my opinion, was the match of the night. And there was a lot of good matches at that pay-per-view. But again, with Marty Scurll trying to convince Jay Lethal to go heel and all this other stuff, I thought they worked beautifully together. And in the end, Jay Lethal cheating to pick up the victory. So a lot of interesting fallout from that point forward that I'm sure that will be addressed on Ring of Honor TV in the near future. Coming in at number 2 is also from a Northeast Wrestling show, but I'm telling you, probably one of, if not the best, Northeast Wrestling match I've ever seen. This was fucking crazy. It was a no-holds-barred match, or a street fight, whatever they called it, between Sami Callihan, who I've met before and seen wrestle before in person, versus Pentagon Jr. from Lucha Underground. Oh, man, he's one of my favorites in wrestling right now. I got to meet him twice that night, because the first picture didn't come out great, so I got to meet him twice. He was really, really cool, and I was very happy to be able to have witnessed this live. I thought they worked wonderfully together. They put together a great hardcore spot fest, and I thought this was just an absolute blast from start to finish. You got to see this match in order to believe it. It was like, holy shit, what the fuck did I just witness? I thought they just really took each other to the limit, and it wasn't too hardcore to the point where it was like, oh, this is the joke, whatever, like, yeah, this is like going too far, it might be too extreme for me, but it wasn't. I thought this was the perfect amount of hardcore, and it was just really, really enjoyable. So absolutely check this out when you can. I think I put up some highlights of the match too here on the channel a few months back under the live reactions playlist, so check it out if you haven't already. And number 1, my favorite match that I saw in person all year was from NXT TakeOver Orlando back on April 1st, 2017, the 3-way NXT Tag Team title match between DIY, the Authors of Pain, and the Revival. Oof. Tag team wrestling this year has been unreal for WWE, between Rollins and Ambrose versus The Bar, and the Usos versus The New Day, and everything going on in NXT has been great. This was a really, really fun match. Everyone thought this would steal the weekend. In my opinion, it probably did. probably did steal the weekend. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, I thought they worked wonderfully together. I hate to keep on repeating myself because all these matches are awesome. But we had DIY get eliminated first, and then Revival got eliminated by Authors of Pain for Authors of Pain to retain. But a lot of moments where I thought we might get new champions. That was the Revival's final match in NXT before being called up to the main roster that Monday on Raw. So again, you can check back all these matches on the WWE Network, on Northeast Wrestling streaming service, on the Progress service, Ring of Honor's streaming service online. So be sure to check out all that stuff and much, much more. I saw a lot of great matches this year. The 4-way tag team title match of the Hardy Boys return. That'd be a moment, not a match. At WrestleMania 33, a lot of great Progress matches, Ring of Honor, NXT. Great year for wrestling. For me, going to shows at least. This was a lot of fun. So real quick, the list was Cody Rhodes versus Ricochet, number 8. Number 7, Roderick Strong versus Hideo Itami. Number 6, The Kingdom versus The Now versus Adrenaline Rush. Number 5, AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon. Number 4, Austin Theory versus Keith Lee versus Mark Andrews versus Mark Haskins from Progress. Number 3, Jay Lethal versus Marty Scurll. Number 2, Pentagon Dark versus Sami Callihan. And number 1, The Revival versus DIY versus the Authors of Pain. So did you go to any great wrestling shows this year? Did you see any awesome in-ring action live in person in 2017? If so, let me know. Did not mean to rhyme there. But in the comment section down below, on Twitter at WrestleRant, on Facebook at facebook.com/Graham.Matthews. And hope you guys had as much fun watching wrestling in 2017 as I did. Here's hoping 2018 will be even bigger. I already know that I'll be at the Royal Rumble in 1 month's time, so I'm very much looking forward to that. Hopefully, I'll do another match, do another list like this next year, and maybe a match from the Rumble will end up on, including the first ever Women's Royal Rumble match. And that, and also Northeast Wrestling. Like I said last week, I should be at one of their shows in March for their WrestleMania-like show. I forgot what it was called. WrestleFest, I think. So yes, I look forward to that, and hope you guys enjoy going to wrestling shows too. Support indie wrestling, support NXT, Ring of Honor, Impact. I almost went to an Impact show this year, but I was busy the weekend. They had it, and they were going to have one in Connecticut, but they fucking canceled the show because tickets were shit. So LOL TNA. But anyway, guys, hope you have a great one. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews. Happy ass New Year, and I'll catch your ass down the road.